Right now, we are going to go to Fort Worth because Jeff Halstead is joining us once again. You may remember him from his many years with the Phoenix Police Department. What years were those that you served here, Jeff?
Oh boy, I think just from the gray hair they can probably tell. But it was 1988 to December of 2008, and then I retired as commander over Homeland Security. Then I went to Fort Worth to be chief for about 6.5 years.
Okay, I started here on the air in '82, so I was trying to gauge my, we're both a couple old timers. Let's just face it. Anyway, very interested to get your perspective now. This $1 million reward. How important is something like that, particularly considering 20,000 tips have already come in?
Yeah, back in Phoenix, I was privileged to have the silent witness detail when I was a sergeant, and then later on in other ranks. And it is very important when a reward gets that level. In fact, week 2 of the Nancy Guthrie investigation, I think they went from 50,000 to 100,000. And I stated, if you really want to grab some attention and get strong leads from within the criminal network, go at least 500,000. So an increased reward to this level is very, very strong. The goal is to get somebody within a criminal network to come forward with extremely valuable intelligence, not another TMZ email or anonymous Bitcoin demand or something like that. They need really, really good intelligence from someone so close to the crime, it becomes the highest level lead for the FBI and Pima County.
Okay, so when $1 million is put out there on the table, and of course now we hope this really will be what helps to crack the case, but you're talking about criminal networks. So let me just take one step back here for just a moment. Have you decided, as you've continued to watch this case unfold, are you leaning toward a kidnapping gone wrong, or are you leaning toward a burglary that perhaps went wrong? Where do you come down just on that original part of it?
Kidnapping an elderly woman in her medical condition is extremely rare. So I always, from day one, went with more than likely a property crime, burglary / home invasion that went wrong. They were startled. She was there. They didn't know what to do. They panicked. And something bad happened in that home with the evidence on the front porch as she was taken out of the house. So I always went with the burglary and or property crime gone wrong, escalated, and then they had to remove her from the residence.
Okay, so what are the odds then that this is like, we always hear the phrase the lone wolf, that this is just a guy who, decided he was going to do this and, as you say, commit a burglary, a home invasion, something along the lines, versus somebody who had accomplices. All we really have to go off of is that doorbell cam video. What are the odds that he had other people he was working with?
Oh boy. So let's get into this. This is a good question, because more than likely it was probably a lone wolf that made the entry, a single suspect that made the entry to commit the property crime. And then something unthinkable could have happened. Then he's going to have to notify people. That could be the 41 to 42 minute delay, is to get some support. You simply cannot on your own take care of a body and or someone who is physically challenged to walk, just 50 feet, according to the first press conference. With that said, more than likely a driver, another person to help carry. So you could be looking at 2 or 3 total suspects once Nancy was taken and removed from the residence. It's very, very challenging for a single person to do that all on their own.
We had another member of law enforcement, now retired from his position, that I'm sure you know, who was in with us just last week, Mark Lamb, the former sheriff of Pinal County. And he said it made sense to him that the camera, because we know it was removed, the doorbell camera was removed, less for the going in portion of getting into the home, and more because someone did not want to take the risk that there could be video evidence of either a second person or the removing Nancy from her home out the front door. And that would make sense. We do have the blood droplets. Does that seem like a likely scenario?
Yeah, it does. And that also fits a little bit of the profiling that's happened in other related crimes where a burglary suspect or someone that's potentially a home invasion suspect actually is startled and then commits a crime in the residence towards one of the residents or occupants. And with that said, yeah, I think defeating that, and the reason I always go back to kind of amateur is if this was a distinctive targeted kidnapping, they would have used high level technology and devices to defeat all security accesses everywhere around the house. This just simply wasn't the case. So that's why, Leona. But I would agree with the former sheriff, Mark Lamb, that yeah, that would make sense. Taking away other identifiers of other persons coming to help this person remove Nancy and or clean that area up before they leave.
Hi, Jeff. How are you? This is Celeste. It's good to hear.
Doing great, Celeste. How are
See and
you?
hear you. I'm doing well. Thank you. I did want to ask this question. This morning, and Ron, you may have covered this off the top, but we had, of course, that new video from Savannah Guthrie saying that they were offering now $1 million reward money. What can you give us some insight in terms of, does that, of course, get people's attention even more, or does it seem like this could become eventually a cold case?
Let's do this.
Sort?
Let's play that clip.
Yeah.
And then we can let you react to it. Ready? Here we go.
We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery and help us bring our beloved mom home, so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark.
Wow, powerful for sure.
So powerful. Jeff, what are your thoughts on that video?
Oh, your heart is just hurting for this family. You can see the pain, the anguish. And when she said she's blowing on the embers of hope, it just shows that they are going through this long and continued cycle of grief. I don't know if they're getting to the closure point of grief, but many of us in the law enforcement profession, it's highly unlikely she is healthy, alive, and in good health. So that's going to be a significant challenge going forward. Also for the viewers, when they put up these massive rewards to help eliminate a lot of these ridiculous tips that comes in, really, the information needs to lead to an arrest. Sometimes some states offer rewards for arrest and conviction. The majority of your Arizona Crime Stoppers or silent witness type thing is arrest. That builds probable cause. And then what happens in the court, they really can't control. So just to help the viewers understand that.
And has it been your experience, Jeff, that an appeal to the heart, to any humanity that might be left in this individual who did this, based on your many, many years of experience, can that be effective? Can that reach them at some level?
The majority of these heinous acts that are committed by almost demonic human beings. I mean, they really don't have a conscience at times, depending on what drugs are on board, mental status, things like that. But people around their network, they do. And that's what motivates us. And if you look at the reward history from this case when it started, you'll notice that it starts and then leads come in, they go down. The reward goes up, more leads come in, then the leads stop. Then it goes up again. So you're seeing this cascading peak and valley type of reward scenario. It's because leads are drying up. And Ron, you mentioned before the potential of moving forward to like a cold case status. At about the 30-day mark, they're going to have a serious investigative conference and discussion in a briefing about how are they going to start moving and scaling down assets, because there's still other things they are responsible for and other crimes they have to be actively investigating. So when it gets to that status, they'll put a much, much smaller team on it, just assessing the future rewards that come in from these increased reward amounts.
Well, we feel like we always get some really interesting perspective from you. That is Jeff Halstead out of Fort Worth. We wish you would have stuck around here. You could have been police chief in this city.
And you could have joined us live in studio right here.
Right, yeah.
I could have literally walked right over the parking lot like I used to do when I was a PIO and just hang out with you.
There you go.
So,
you guys are awesome. I appreciate you.
You still look good, buddy.
Yeah,
you
you
look
sure
young
do.
as ever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy. Thank you.